This is Sumit Suneja. I am the founder of Merlin Brands. We run two unique brands in D2C sector, one being Rabbitat and another being Headway.
एक मिनट रुक जाओ, रेडी होने दो. चलो ये कर लेते हैं. This could be a great intro.
Hi, I'm Akshay.
Hi, this is Saurabh, and you are listening to the Founder Thesis podcast. We meet some of the most celebrated startup founders in the country.
And we want to learn how to build a unicorn. Try and try again until you succeed. I'm sure you've heard this saying before. However, I think for an entrepreneur, the better saying is pivot and pivot again until you succeed. And Sumit Suneja, the founder of Merlin Brands, is the epitome of this mantra. At the start of the century, his family ran the very successful video and DVD film distribution company called Eagle. If you're from that age in which people rented movies instead of streaming them, then you may recall the Eagle logo which used to come at the start of the movie. Then, a decade later, he decided to bring audiobooks to India with his startup called Redo. However, as you may have guessed it, Redo struggled to scale up. And after trying for years, Sumit decided to shut it down. And this time he wanted to be more thoughtful about his next venture, and that led him to the space of children's products, leading to the creation of Merlin Brands. This conversation is a fascinating peek into the mind of a relentless entrepreneur who persists against all odds and, most importantly, never stops pivoting. Listen on to Sumit talking about his journey from being in a family business to starting up on his own.
2010, I said, okay, let me go back to something that I love. Do sabne bolte hain. So there is a cliche that I want to correct. People saying, do what you love and do what you consume, right? I used to consume a lot of audiobooks, a lot. And those time we used to get 14 CDs cassette, 6 CDs cassette from US. I didn't go to school, but my ability to learn, or my love for learning was always there. Only the education was a structured education was not part of the whole thing, but learning still continues. And that is how I used to buy audiobooks from US and keep listening to those audiobooks all the time. That kind of got me people tell me, and this is what I heard from everybody, that what you consume, do that, and when I started audiobooks in India, there was nobody doing audiobooks. Nobody heard of audiobooks. And I put in my life savings into it.
Like similar model, like you would buy rights upfront payment and then publish CDs.
And then we went beyond that. We published into CDs. Then we licensed from international publishing houses like Penguin, Simon Schuster's, and Hachette of the world. And we brought them onto a digital platform where you could download. And these were days where you had to connect your phone to your laptop, and through iTunes you could load. Yeah, so there was 2G, so ऐसे download नहीं हो रहा था, and we used to do that. We did that a lot. We got 10,000 books onto the platform, and we thought, what's wrong? Okay, CDs nahi chahiye. Okay, you want digital, we got digital. Okay, now you want an app. We built an app, and there is then still there is no business. What do you do now?
When you say no business, what were the numbers like? Was it like a subscription or a purchase?
It was a la carte numbers. We at that time didn't have the vision of, to be honest, I had to still learn my way through it. So the company was called Redo. The brand was called Redo. Look it up. Redo was the first company in India that did audiobooks. And, friends and everybody used to talk that you're doing great business. This is something very unique. And you used to feel proud of the fact that you're doing something unique, but wo itna business to hota hi nahi tha. You were just running it as a hobby and burning through your cash, right? And we did that for 4 years. On the 5th year, the last leg of the year, we decided that, okay, one last thing that is left is we need to do marketing. And we got like 100 crore marketing capital from Bennett Coleman, Times of India. And I said, let's do that and see what happens. And we had 100 crore marketing budget. You have the product ready. You have like 20,000 books now in your pocket. Let's do that. And the month we did 6 crore of advertising. That month we got 6 lakh of revenue. So the lesson that comes through is, it's not enough कि जो हम consume कर रहे हैं वो ही चलेगा. Yeah, those passionate things that people talk about, I kind of stop agreeing to those things. No, everything is data modeling. Everything is based on data. Everything is based on feedback. I should have heard it on the sixth month, which it took me 5 years.
What was the feedback, that people don't want to pay for content?
The first feedback was, what's audiobooks? So then that feedback is, you're going to train the market, Indian market, it needs much deeper pockets, right? And then of course they don't want to pay for content, especially digital content. CDs mein to fir bhi we used to make some revenues, but when it came to downloads, people didn't want to pay for content, especially in India. So you could have heard through, but no, we weren't there to listen. We were there to just do our passionate project. So so when people tell you do your passion, I kind of have lived that, and I can tell everybody there has to be a perfect mix of passion and real data behind what you're about to do. If you don't have data, if you don't have real world experiences backing your passion, please don't burn your money into it and your time.
The product market fit should be evident. That was your primary learning.
Yes, and don't try to sell yourself your passion. Don't sell it to your own self. But the business that we do today, um, those seeds were sown back in 2010 when Amazon just came to India. Okay, they were not even coming to India. They had made an office in Bangalore, and they invited us for a conference. And we were a DVD giant back then. So, and they wanted us because books ke baad next they want DVD and then everything else, right? So was Flipkart. We were the top few sellers of Flipkart, right? So, and they wanted us to come over and talk about what Amazon's plans are. And there was a presentation they made to select few companies. There were like 10 companies maximum. And they made a presentation that how big Amazon still is compared to Flipkart. That their traffic to their website, Amazon.com, is still higher than what Flipkart's traffic was back in the day. And the kind of data they showed us, which we just couldn't take pictures of, was what kind of exports they do to India. So the number one was that they used to do books exports, right? And the number second was electronics, right? And number three, to my surprise, was parenting products, baby and baby care and child care products. And and me and my brother were like, wow, like, books are evident, right? काफी books के इंडिया में नहीं आएंगे. That's okay. Electronics, we all know. उस time पे especially there was no Apple, so people used to order lots of accessories and stuff, and they used to pay duty and get the thing. So there used to be electronics, but baby products was something that was quite surprising to somebody like me. And but we kept it at the back of my pocket and we moved forward. Then going forward, when we were doing the audiobooks business, we used to travel to US a lot and used to meet my publishing parent companies, right, to get more books into the platform and meet them regularly. So when you used to travel so frequently to US, every second month I used to be in US. लोग क्या मंगाते थे आपसे? Get me a diaper bag or get me this feeding bottle. And I was like, and वो भी उस जमाने में one of my friends, he ordered like 2 days before I was leaving, and I had to walk around in snow with my brother, and with all my shoes got wet. And I said, what is he making us do? Like we're दूध की बोतल, we are buying milk bottles here, right, from shop to shop, and we're not getting it also now, right? And my shoes were all wet, soaking wet, right, in snow. And it was like, I have to take it. It's his son, it's my friend's son. I have to take it. And so, long story short, when we were coming back in the flight, and my brother showed me this pattern, that you remember what Amazon said back 4 years back? And I said, yeah. And how dots connected? He says, wow. And at that time, Rido was not doing that well, right? We were just burning through cash. We decided that if Rido doesn't go the way we think it, we think it will not go very high, we may have to exit. So we should look at doing something in parenting. So that's how parenting came into being. But that also we learned from Rido's mistakes. We never just jumped into a business. We knew that every business has the modalities that we forgot to learn last time, right? So, and this time we need to learn those modalities. So we decided that we will not go ahead and pick up a business and start doing it and put money in it. And of course, we had lost all our savings. We didn't have much. very honestly, we didn't have much to spend on. So we decided that we're not going to do it that way. Instead, we're gonna learn this business, and the only way we can learn this business is we take franchisees for some top brands for India, and let's bring them to India. And we took local franchises for India, exclusively for top 4 5 brands, and we got them to India one after another. They were like brands like Skip Hop, Komotomo, right? Those kind of brands, and they were the top seller brands in the US. We got one after another, and at that time, look, India may nobody was doing it, so we kind of pioneering that part for. We did that for 2 3 years, and suddenly there were brands contacting us. They were retail to sell their brand in India because we were selling for the top brands.
Did you take this franchisee for setting up offline retail stores or for selling through e-commerce platforms?
We decided that we will sell through other platform, not our own platform. It will be e-commerce or it will be offline, any which ways.
So offline would mean like through a distribution network, not through your own retail chains.
Yes, yes, not through our own retail network. Of course not. And we decided let's do it the right way, and we'll learn our business and see what happens. So we did a lot of hard work around getting the brands. Then we did a hard work around building the distribution. We reached 300 standalone retail stores across the country. It's not very easy, especially 300 those kind of stores that can sell to high net worth individuals in India. Because whatever said and done, those are very expensive products, right? So those are not coming in cheap. Like a feeding bottle would still be $2,000.
And probably that time these chains would not have been there, like First Cry and Mom and Me.
We became very important to First Cries of the world, Amazons of the world, and Mother Cares of the world, because we were the only company bringing a lot of brands under one umbrella, and for a very short while we kind of fancied that we may not even want to build our own brand, because this is looking like a good model where we can continue to add brands under one umbrella and become a giant power player in the market, where retailers to brands, everybody wants to work with as a consolidator. So we fancied that idea for a very short while, and we got kicked very fast back in when in May of 2019 our biggest brand fired us. Okay, and they fired us because Reliance had given them a very good offer. So we had to, and we learned. Oh, we learned our earlier vision back into the space that we should have planned our brand well before. And that night was one of the most difficult nights for me and my brother. It was 19th of May 2019, and it was one of the most difficult nights we had.
How much of your revenue was coming from that brand?
40% of our revenue.
So overnight, 40% of your revenue is gone.
Yeah, and we had been like scaling up like crazy, right? And what everybody told us was that you have to quickly get 2 3 new brands to fill up this vacuum, right? And that is what everybody was telling us. Include you would say the same, right? And most people would. And what good thing what me and my brother does is whenever we have a problem, we solve it at 4 a.m. So any small problem or big problem, we do it at 4 a.m. And we tell ourselves that we are going to Japan time zone, and we'll get up at 4 a.m. So we have to sleep by 9, and we have to get up at 4, no matter what it is, right? And we realize there is some power in 4 a.m. Okay, and we got problem है 4 a.m. करेंगे solve कर लेंगे, right? So and I want to bring this to everybody. Try it. It's an open challenge. Take a problem to 4 a.m. And I promise you, take the biggest problem you have, and just get up at 4 a.m. Get up at 3:30. Start. Open your laptop at 4 a.m. I promise you, by the time it's 10 a.m., you'll solve it.
Yeah, I guess one is that you are waking up fresh, as in, it's like a reset. Your mind is reset and ready for work. And then there is no external disturbance.
If you like to hear stories of founders, then we have tons of great stories from entrepreneurs who have built billion-dollar businesses. Just search for the Founder Thesis podcast on any audio streaming app like Spotify, Gaana, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the show.
There is something else. There's some power in the nature and the universe. Around 4 a.m. is different. There are so many places I may shut off my phone, I do other things, but and I wake up at even 7 or 8, right? What generally everybody wakes up at. तभी कोई phone नहीं बज रहे, right? But and we get up at 4 a.m. We go to a hotel's lobby or a cafe, and we go and open our laptops there, and we sit and talk, or we work towards a new design, or we stuck on a design product or design problem today. We know what we have to do. It's called 4 a.m. That's the only thing. So yeah, so we do 4 a.m. sessions and we solve it. So I want to tell everybody, all of your listeners, guys, please once try this. This was taught to me by one of my mentors, and I didn't believe him. I used to be awake till 4 a.m. He changed me completely, and now I have a problem. We got up at 4 a.m. We do it. So we got up at 4 a.m. and it was Eros Hotel, New Delhi, that very next morning, and we were like devastated that night. And my brother's daughter's baby shower that night. So it was a very very sad baby shower for me and my brother. And but next morning, uthe or got some coffees in our system. And by the time we started working on an Excel sheet. Like I said, data. We started working on Excel sheet. What sold in that many years? What was the profit margins? What was and when everything came together, the result was totally different. The result wasn't ever to get new brands. The result was make your fucking brand. That's the only way.
What did the data show you? Like, did it show you that this category is doing well and is underserved? Yeah, well, what did it show you?
The data showed us that no matter how many more brands we get, we'll only make a certain amount of gross profit, which will never be enough to a build a company that can feed hundreds of homes. It'll always be a lala business. Even for Reliance would do it for different reasons, right? They would do it for reasons of power, that they have all the brands under one roof. But they'll not do it for the profit reasons. If you're a distributor, it's you can't build a company through profit and nurture the company through that profit. It is too minuscule. It can serve our lifestyle, आप अच्छी lifestyle जी लोगे, but you'll always be salaried and be working for these brands. So we decided and we worked through data and what cost we could make them at and what feedback customers gave us. Like a lot of those feeding bottles was such a small size that, or a lot of those school bottles was such a small size. India, mein people don't want it. They want little bigger bottles, or they want little bigger bags, or they want a lot of different things, right? So we took those feedback to our heart and we said, these are 10 first products that we can launch. But where will the money come from? Now you need a lot of money to make those 10 products, because in this business, it's in the business that we are, it's not easy. You have to get the industrial design going. Then you need to get the molds and the tooling coming in. You have to invest on those molds. They may start from 10 lakhs to go to 30, 40 lakhs per mold. And sometimes the product may have 3 molds, right? So you have to invest very heavily into tooling. And of course, your first inventory and everything. And we said, we don't have the money. All the money we have is in all the other brands that we're doing. The only way it came out to be that we had to fire all the rest of the brands.
Liquidate that inventory and then use that money.
Yes. And of course, raise more debt. And to even raise debt, you got to put in 50% of your money, right? Where was that? So we had to fire all the brands within the next 1 week and give them notices for 6 months. And we helped them find new distributors. And we told them that we are going to start our own brand, and this is what we're going to do. We're still good friends with all of those brands, but we learned this the hard way. And what good came out was something totally different. With all those brands, they got us in the market. Everybody knew us.
You built the distribution relationships.
Yes, and we build the relationships with the distributors. We build the relationship with the retailers, with the online retailers, and we had a ready infrastructure that we could start on day 1, day 0, right? Apart from that, a lot of learning. What kind of compliances you have to go through for a parenting brand. A product has to go through a lot of compliances. If you have to become an international brand, you have to be EN certified, FDA certified,
Why
and
do you need a FDA certification? Because you're selling in India, right?
we are the brand. We at least we aspire to be a brand that is in that what you call India for the world. We thought that all the brands that we used to distribute, they were American or Canadian brands or German brands, but those were all manufacturing in China, Malaysia, Thailand, and everywhere in the world, and they were selling to the world. And why can't an Indian brand do that? And if you want to be globally compliant, and we care about, if you care about the part that business that you're doing, now this is where passion comes in, right? Not choosing the business that we do, but how we do it, right? If you care about parenting as a whole, then you need to care about what a parent care about. They care about safety, health, right? They care about how long that thing lasts, right? They care about that if their kid uses their bag, it should not feel very heavy on their shoulders. You don't have to make it that cheap. So we care about those things, and we do care about the fact that no child should ever get hurt or ever had to because they use your product. That's not what we are made for.
So the FDA certification and these certifications would help ensure uh, and put pressure on you to make sure that they are safe.
Yes, and if we are compliant, and if we take and the best part is, and this is what I want to talk about people if they are listening from India, that to make the best product, it doesn't take too much more extra. In India, we just cut corners for no reason. If something costed $100 to make it the best one, it may just cost you 115. Right? It will not cost you 200. Trust me. In most cases, just the extra length of effort it will take.
Yeah, it's just a time investment, like in thinking about it more, like designing it more thoughtfully and doing more research about it. Yeah, it's just a time investment essentially.
It's essentially time investment. I agree, and I imagine that your promise that you will not compromise. That's all. If you promise to yourself that you will not compromise, you will get the best product more often than not.
So how did you make that pivot, like being a distributor to launching your own brand? Like tell me that journey.
That is when the real struggle started and the roller coaster ride. So the modern roller coaster ride जो मेरे parents के business में थी उससे बहुत different हमने देखी between me and my brother. We fired all the brands and I went into hibernation of 4 a.m.s and not coming to office and started designing all the products.
What about your employees? मतलब वो खाली तो नहीं बैठे होंगे ना?
We got all the designers to come to office at 4 a.m. and leave at 2 p.m. That's the best time. I convinced them to come at 4 a.m. and let's sit together and design the shit out of these products. So we remember November, December and Jan was 2019 and 2020 were horrible. We had to just pay out of our pockets to keep the team. We were not going to fire anybody, right? We were coming up with new products. We were not downscaling. In fact, we were looking to upscale. So there was no reason to fire anybody. So we did that for 2 months. We went into hibernation and not meet anybody. Don't want to talk to even my friends because they'll waste my time. They'll not get me to sleep early. So I literally divorced all my friends and my wife and my kids, everybody. So, and took a sabbatical from human life and for 2 months and just designed the shit out of products. And then went to different factories across the world and maybe China, Malaysia, Thailand, and kept closing. We were only concerned about what factories we can find that are compliant and that work for Western countries. So there are two types of factories across the world that people don't, right? There are the ones that work for African nations and Indian subcontinent, right? And the one that works for compliant nations, right? They're compliant factories, and we were looking for compliant factories and how to do the QC and how to make sure that they make according to your specifications. It's a journey. You have to sit with the factory owners, and you have to decide the timelines, prices, and the qualities and quality assurances, and close agreements with them because, of course, these are copyrighted designs. And we got, by God's grace, we got everything copyrighted globally. So So we had to make sure that designs never get copied, because if you work in China, Thailand, or anywhere else, uh, your design, especially in Asian region, is very irrelevant. If they like it, yeah. So you have to work with very compliant factories and who have experience into working those kind of products. So that we did that, and we got a product line in.
How many products did you start initially with? Like, what was your initial range?
Our initial range was about 10 products with, of course, variants, many colors, many prints, but 10 different products. And so the funny thing is, we were planning for back to school, okay, of 2020, which was going to start in March. And if anybody here listens, that what I'm getting at is we were planning for March 2020 back to school. We were making lunch boxes, we were making school bags, two types of bottles, lunch bags, and thankfully some baby products as well. Just not back to school, but yeah, majority was back to school because we wanted to make a big bang buck of a new design, language, and stuff like that.
How did you do the branding part of
I think between our entire team at my company, which should be given credit for it because they have worked in this parenting business for a long time. We wanted to come up with a name that should not have a problem sounding on a phone. If I tell you Rabitat, you should be understanding what the spelling of that word would be. We should get the .com of it, and we should not be evading. We should not be evading any copyright or stuff like that. Keeping those in the, I think somebody in our team, I forgot, well, somebody in our team came up with this name called Rabitat, and meeting the two words rabbit's habitat, right? But more importantly, it was more that sounds nice. There is not much to it. To be honest, बहुत ज़्यादा बात है नहीं. If I tell you there were some swanky ideas behind it, no, there is. Yeah, there wasn't. We're quite desi that way. So it should दो तीन चीजें हैं बस आपको फोन पे बताएं. You should know the spelling, and the other thing should be when you Google us, there shouldn't be too many rabbits. So those were only two things. And so we're planning for the 2020 back to school season. And we put all our money into, like, 70% of our money was going towards back to school. And mind you, we had raised a lot of debt. And in February 10th or 12th of Feb, we got the first inventory. To add fuel to this fire, what we did was we loved the range so much, and some of our industry partners gave us the idea that you go ahead and make a full ad film on it. Nobody's ever done it, and let's make a TV ad film for it, for back to school collection, because nobody ever made a collection like this in India. And it was so beautiful. It came out really nice, not because it's my brand, but it actually did. And that's the reason today we are amongst, like, the top ones in our category. So moving forward, we went to Bombay. We made ad film, and around 1st of March we were shooting. We raised some more debt, and we were shooting a full blown ad film on a cinematic camera with 20 artists and a 3-day schedule. Heavy investment, and we were so proud of our thing, right? And on the way back from Bombay, we got a phone call that for tomorrow morning you have to order a lot of groceries from Amazon because groceries are running out on stores now already. And that gave me chunks in my stomach like nobody's business. So that happened, and everybody knows rest is history. By March 20th, it came to fruition that we cannot open, and we cannot even whatever we shipped out before that had to come back. It went into the trade, it went to the stores, and it came back. I cannot even explain on an audio or a video podcast what it felt to us at that moment. We were in debt. We were in debt, and there was banks at the door.
how much debt had you taken by that time? Couple of crores or more?
I think 4 or 5 crores, and a totally new business, and we had let go of the entire previous business. And we were feeling this would be the second business we have crushed in 5 years.
मतलब लिटरली आपने सब कुछ दाव पे लगा दिया था.
Everything. And we owed money to banks, to people, to other factories, right? We owed money left, right, and center, and everything came to a halt. And but that was the, I think, again we went to 4 a.m., right? And we decided that we're not going to sit back. We're going to do something, and let's start work from home. And we were like, work from home next morning. Next morning we started. We brought our company together on a Zoom, and first time हमने देखा Zoom भी कोई चीज होती है. And to my surprise, our team was not used to it, and our team was not a team which is very well experienced into a corporate infrastructure. They are into a startup. They don't know much, but to their credit, they stood by us and they learned their way through. And everybody got internet connections in 2 hours into their homes, and everybody got, even to the best, our security guard, our company security, learned on his phone and got his Zoom, and how he has to operate during the lockdown. He was learning through a video call. I'm so thankful. It's unbelievable, right? There is no words I can say that are really towards Siddharth, Neha, Sunny, Pankaj, all these guys I want to mention today. And these guys stood by me, and Archana, Rima. So, anyways, and everybody at Merlin. Please, if I'm forgetting anybody, everybody, guys, everybody, love you all. So, but I came to a point where अक्षय 4 बजे फिर से उठ के एक ही समझ में आया कि Amazon बंद है, फ्लिपकार्ट बंद है, अभी क्या करोगे? मदर केयर बंद है, हैमलीज बंद है, अभी क्या करोगे? Okay, banks, if you're not paying to the bank, they're still charging you double the interest, right? So you screwed left, right, and center. So we went back and we borrowed some money from my dad to sustain through. The day the lockdown happened, we barely had 10,000 rupees in our account. I had to sustain through that. It was very, very challenging. We had to make salaries. We had to make everything on, at least, if not bank payments, right? So we went into a regroup mode, and our team suggested that let's do one thing. We can do our own website if we can supply to customers directly. So, and one of our team members said, I can make it overnight if you want, sir, but how will you supply? Right? We can make it on Shopify. We can make everything. Okay, perfect. So, being Delhi walas, we are a little bit connected people sometimes, and we got ourselves a license to operate because we had feeding bottles and baby blankets and stuff like that. Right? We got a license to operate, and we were the only brand we were operating. And by the third day, we launched our website, and we could ship to entire country, and only from our website. So for those who do internet marketing, we experienced a ROAS of 12. Let this be clear.
What is ROAS?
Return on ad spend. And we saw 12 for maybe good 2 months.
क्योंकि और कोई ads पे spend कर ही नहीं रहा था.
Very few businesses were able to ship, and that's what kind of and then we were, of course, deciding that we'll start a campaign called School from Home.
How were you doing the shipping? Like what, delivery and all were working? Yeah.
If you are licensed, then they will ship it. We got license from the Delhi government, and then we were able to ship. Apart from that, we also started a campaign called School from Home, which kind of gave क्या कर सकते हैं, school bag फिर भी कैसे बेचेंगे? We sold school bags. You can't imagine what amazing team that we had that made that happen. I'm so thankful, and I'm so lucky to have that kind of team. And to be honest, there was a time where 70% of our sales was this back to school without schools opening.
Like by creating that story of make your child feel like he's in school.
Yes. And a collection is so interconnected that if you buy one product, say for example, you buy a Mad Eye cup, right? Then the child wants the Mad Eye bag. The child wants the Mad Eye pencil box, the lunch box, the Mad Eye, everything is, and to build the entire collection, it's so interconnected.
Mad Eye, is that a character? What is?
Is one of the character. So we have Mad Eye, Spunky, Diva, Shy Guy, like that. So we have 8 different characters.
These characters are like your intellectual property.
Yes, we developed a character. Generally, लोग बच्चों को ना animals बेच रहे थे, from Disney to everybody for the longest time. We thought that we had to do something different, and for that reason, we built characters that are children themselves who have characteristics of their own. Diva is a different kind of a girl. She's always very well dressed. She's always very up to the point, right? She knows how to dress up. Mad Eye would be the guy who will always be taking pangas with everybody in the room, right? He'll be trying to be the funny guy, right? And these are 8 different characters we built, and parents can see their children in those characters, and then choose the products. That was the idea.
What kind of sales were you doing then, once you started selling online?
I think on our own website in the first month, we did about 50-60 lakh rupees उस जमाने में, when nobody was doing, and schools बंद थे, and we picked up from there on, right? And I think by the time the year ended, we reached a run rate of 10 CR by the end of the year. So we did that. Of course, by the end of that year, there was the second wave and everything. But we did decently well.
When you were doing the franchisee business, what kind of turnover were you doing then? Like compared to 10 CR for Habitat, what was the turnover then?
No, we were doing much higher turnovers then, but March was quite good. Today, as we speak today, we are 20th month. We're in the 20th month of our launch of our Habitat business. We have already beaten all the 4 brands together.
What will be the turnover this year for Habitat?
Habitat and Headway Club, we are targeting upwards of 15 CR. And hopefully next year we would be doing at least 30 CR. Because by the time schools would open, our major thing is that once we have the schools and everything in, then we should be in a much better territory than this. But we're quite in a very happy place, very honestly. We think we can do it. Just thoda sa focus towards customer experience. That's what we've done well, to be honest. And passion, like I said, passion उसमें नहीं है कि मैं क्या करूँगा. Passion ये है कि मैं कैसे करूँगा उसे. Like there is what actually you do employee management and recruiting and stuff. I'm sure it's not a passion for somebody to do it. It's how you do that thing is where the passion, right? How well you recruit those people, how you recruit the best person. Isn't that where the passion is?
Yeah, attention to detail. The biggest sign of passion is attention to detail. What I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. अगर सिर्फ मेरे को कोई बोलेगा यार आई हैव टू डू बी पैशनेट, गिटार बजाना है, गिटार का बिजनेस कर लेते हैं, डोंट टेल मी बिकॉज इंडिया में गिटार कितने बेच लोगे. वी हैव टू बी मोर प्रैक्टिकल एंड देन do it. That's what I think what I've learned over the years.
From Habitat to Headway, tell me that journey. Like, how did Headway come about?
Headway, very different place. What happened was the factories that we were working with, we know they used to make products, especially hydration products. By hydration, I mean stainless steel bottles and flasks and stuff like that, for top brands in the world, right? And when I say top brands, the number one brands. Do you imagine the brand? And those factories were making it. We knew how to make them now. The only problem is that we had to. People wanted us to make something for adults, but we never had the capital. We never, and to invest into new molds and new inventory. So and how you start working with some factories and you build relationships. So a couple of factories were very close to us, and as we started talking to them, we offered them that we want to try something, but we don't want to spend the same kind of money we already did. So a couple of them got interested, and they gave us a leverage of lower quantities and sharing the cost of the tooling, and considering that we also promised to stay with them for a certain longer period, maybe 3 years and longer, which of course we were happy to agree to, right? And they gave us 5 products to try in Headway with our designs, totally our thing. And when we launched them in India, people had never seen something like this in India for adults. मतलब लोग मिल्टन से आगे जा ही नहीं रहे थे. Those ugly ass bottles that you can't keep it on your table also, and are not insulating for more than 2 hours, right? So for us, we were surprised to the point that people were like, wow. And these are very regular day-to-day products. So we realized that India always have been, especially in CPGs, consumer products, manufacturers have been cutting corners to make it more value driven. That has been hurting the entire consumer experience. We think today our vision has changed from a parenting company to becoming a CPG company and helping enhance those consumer experiences.
How is the Headway bottle different from, like, say, a Milton bottle?
So we are going to do a video with one of our YouTube partners in next month where we will be showing top 10 brands in India compared to a Headway. We will be putting our bottles into burning coals with ice in them, and let's see what happens on a live video. Above all, we use the most honest materials of steel, which are food graded, which are compliant globally, which enables a user to stay a rust-free bottle for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. That you cannot get in products that you get in India. And those rustic bottles that you don't know are getting into your water, and they will be carcinogenic. They will not be ever healthy.
Yeah, a typical bottle साल भर में rust आ ही जाता है. मतलब they don't last more than a year.
Yes, because the material that they're made of and rust is pure poison. So that's where I believe we are sold our souls and conscious just to cut the corners in India. मतलब हमने बहुत ज़्यादा we've literally done that. Capitalism एक लिमिट तक ही ठीक है, but beyond that one has to not play with these kind of safety, health. इससे नहीं लेना है, इसमें डालना ही पड़ेगा आपको, इससे ले नहीं सकते आप. Make it better. Don't take away from it.
The Headway bottle, what is the capacity? Like 1 liter bottles or smaller?
We start with 550 mls and 750 mls. So now Headway, this year, we served brands like KPMG, Pfizer, Google, DHL. All these companies have served have served Headway products to their employees or to their customers in their customer acquisition. And we're so proud that we were never been questioned on the price. These brands know what we've done and what we will continue to achieve going forward. So we're hoping.
You also do like engraving on because I can see on the website like there's a name engraved.
Yeah, we do customization, yes.
Anyone buying a bottle on Headway, they can get it customized.
Yeah, absolutely. So is Habitat. They can get the kid's name engraved and stuff.
Ah, okay. How do you do that engraving? So you do it like in your Okla office?
In-house, yeah. Our dispatch center is in Okla also, near to our own head office. We have engraving set up. We are also launching an embroidered bedding and stuff like that. And they can get the kid's name embroidered and stuff like that.
That's like a major USP, no? Like to have the name embroidered or engraved on the bottle, because बच्चे bottle खोते रहते हैं. Like
anything personalized makes it your own. We like to do that. And I think offline cannot allow you to do that on the fly. I think platforms like Amazon and Flipkart are too huge to allow that to happen. At least not now. Maybe in very future, but nothing right now, right? So we believe that this is going to be very interesting. Today we get majority of our orders that are customized. They wanted customized, and we are going to get. We've seen that, and we're going to make extra lengths to even customize products further. Like kids can make their own bag colors. They can choose what part of the bag would look what color. We are going to do that kind of stuff now.
Let's talk about pricing. Like for Rabitat, what is the price range like, and how does it compare with competitor products?
We don't know what competition is to us, because we are especially only in Rabitat, we are very unique. We don't have a competition as we speak. We would be the only brand that will be compliant to all these regulations, safety, health wise. Apart from that, there'll be pricing would be a lot different if we compare it to a regular Indian brand. We would be at least twice more expensive.
A bottle for a kid, like how much would it cost on an average, or a school bag?
So we start our school bags at $1,500. We're not that expensive. An American brand would cost you much more higher, but in order for us to enable the quality that we promise, we would have to remain compliant, and that of course costs money.
And what about Headway? Like how much does a Headway bottle cost?
Headway starts from about $1,000, goes to about 1,400, 1,500, 1,600. Not very expensive. So we're quite close to what Milton's $1,000 Milton's would be, but a little bit more premium. But at least you can keep them on the top of your table and won't look ugly.
Your distribution channel now is primarily online?
No, I think today, as things started opening up, I hope this continue to open up. Fingers crossed. But we believe 60%, 65% would be online, and rest all will be offline. This was a totally different story 3-4 months ago. Must have been on 75%. But as things are looking to open up, we might reach a point where this will be a 50-50 split.
And offline means like through these specialized stores that have products for kids.
Yes, and to add to a list of more than 200, 250 specialized parenting stores or toy stores, stuff like that.
In the online revenue, how much of it is your side? How much from Amazon and like marketplaces?
Of the total revenue, we think we on our own website, 30% of the total revenue of 25% as of today may be coming from our own website. We're not very Amazon discovery brand, because we may not be the cheapest, so we may not index on the top of Amazon index, right? So 90% of our Amazon sales would come from the search term rabbit ad.
But you don't spend on ads on Amazon, like sponsored listing?
We do it in a different strategy than regular. We don't do a category based. So we tag along our own brand names and we tag along international and premium brand names.
Yeah, you only want to target people who are looking for premium stuff, basically. Is there a difference in the margin when you sell through your own website versus when you sell through Amazon?
Our margins are quite different on our own website. I think on our own website, we would be enjoying at least 30-40% more margin than we sell on Amazon.
On your own website, you still have to spend on that customer acquisition cost, like the ads and all. So including that, you still earn more on your own website.
On our website, of course, when you add customer acquisition, we don't do that well. But when we acquire customer, we look at the lifetime value of the customer. That would make sure for a better return in future. But as Rabbitat is growing older as a brand, we get 30-40% of our sales coming from existing customers.
Got it. And for Headway, what do you see as distribution channels? Like this corporate tie-up you were telling me about, how did you achieve that?
A lot, 100% was of these deals were an inbound reach than an outbound. So you do good stuff, people will. If you start using a Headway product, you would want to give it to your fellow employees or to your partners.
But this by itself could be like a great channel. You could actually hire one sales guy whose work is just alliances, like corporate alliances.
Yeah, I think on the contrary, we never do sales. We never sell. That's not to say we'd never go to any customer to sell. Never ever. If we are there to help their cause, then it's good enough. If we're not good enough to help their cause, better not. It's a different world now. आपको बेचना बंद करना पड़ेगा. Never do outreach. Do good stuff. If she were a retailer, for example, and if I were to come to you, Akshay, then I want to keep my stuff on your store. Instead of selling to you, I would have to look at it totally differently. I'll say, Akshay, would you like to experience Rabbitat for your customer? If Rabbitat can help your customers better and help you get them coming back to you for more such products, would you try? Let me give you a 60 days trial. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to do anything. Just keep it. Let me know after 60 days. If I do well, otherwise just throw me out. Just send it back to me.
There's a lot of money to be made through this corporate alliance. I mean, see, the one thing is that your shipping costs would be much lower. So you would probably get better margins. You will get bigger deals say KPMG or ENY. If they do a deal with you that they will give you a bottle to all their employees, that's like maybe 10,000 bottles being sold in one deal.
So the volume, of course, makes a lot of sense. If they are bringing you a value of volume, then you got to bring them the value of pricing. So it all evens out. But the good thing is that we go to so many hands, so many high net worth customers. That's the win for us. We may make lesser margins on those deals, but a lot of those customers just don't stick to one Headway pod.
True. Yeah. You get noticed, basically. Discoveries happen.
Yes, and while we're not losing money to that. What more do you want?
So, which is why I'm saying you should like actually hire a sales guy to.
We tried that and we learned that it's never good to outsell. If some inward inquiries are much better converted. So right. So better thing would be do better marketing so that you reach more eyes and ears, and do better product on top of that marketing. Before even marketing, do better product. Every time each large customer has come to us, they have come to us after experiencing our product. So we never had to sell to them.
So, what is the role of technology in the business? Like, one side of technology is, of course, in terms of your online commerce platform and marketing and stuff like that, or the other is in terms of getting data on what features people need, what products people need, and using that data to design product. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so technology, of course, plays a huge role. If I'm saying 65% of our sales come from e-com, of course, technology has a huge role to play there. Apart from that, our supply chain is so technology dependent right now. And we are investing very heavily on a better supply chain so that we can serve our customers better at much faster price times. Because what Amazons and Flipkarts of the world have shown you is serve the customer much faster to get there. So for example, the only thing people tell me, and I don't know if they've shared with you, that I ordered on Myntra last night and it came to me in the morning. Yeah, and they remember that one instance. So how do I ship to a consumer much faster? How do I grow to that scale that I can use technology and shipping services where I can ship to consumer directly, much faster, much cheaper as well, right? Apart from that, I think technology plays a much bigger role in our marketing, because all you see, Akshay or anybody listening to us right now, would be looking at their 6-inch screen. They don't look at their kids as much. वो change की screen पे are are stuck so badly, right? कौन टीवी देख रहा है? And the only way technology enabled us to reach those 6-inch screen in a meaningful way, ad से नहीं, not by ad, is the mixture of content like what you are doing, right? Content, relevant content, value addition content that adds value to your listeners, that adds value to your audiences, and enabled it with technology delivery, right? That would make sense. That is entire place of technology. Though I'm making a physical product, everything is technology, from customer acquisition to customer service.
Mm-hmm. How are you doing content marketing? Like, tell me that strategy.
In terms of content, we started 2 of our own podcasts. One is called Meet the Mom for Rabitat. Is run by Neha, my colleague. She heads marketing here at Merlin overall, and I run the podcast for Forever in Motion, which is a podcast made to target headway consumers. It's mostly targeted towards working professionals. And the central theme of that podcast is stay forever in motion, whatever may come. And their stories and their ideas and their marketing ideas. We've had podcasts with people like Ankit Nagodi and Pravul Singh from Zoho, and a lot of friends of mine, and we want to keep adding to that.
So far, you've not raised any external funding, right? It's only been debt funding and your own savings.
We have recently closed a seed round for about $500,000, and we not kind of announced that because it's just quite small a number. So this is the first time we've seen an external capital coming into the company. We believe we will be doing justice to this capital first, and do the best value addition to this capital. We're not in a hurry to raise more capital before we even need it.
But so, the D2C space has this race for capital happening. There are like these Thrasio style companies. I think Mensa became a unicorn in like 6 months or something crazy like that. And they are constantly looking to acquire D2C brands. And so are you open to such kind of a deal? Or do you want to instead become an acquirer yourself? Because you already have 2 brands. So,
we don't have any aspirations to acquire or get acquired. We have only one aspiration. We have how to reach 100 crore revenue, and what will enable us to reach that first. That's the first step in the journey, and we'll see from there. That is there is no bigger vision. Uh, we don't have like that kind of vision so far. We may have, but today we are more practical and pragmatic, and and whatever enables us to reach 100 crores, we will consider that.
So by when do you think you'll hit 100 crore? By which year?
We want to hit, right, when we want to do that by 2025, and whatever enables us to reach that faster, and we want to make a defensible position, just not make 100 crores, but so that we don't become a brand that can easily be broken by anybody else white labeling new ideas. A defensible brand needs to come with a lot of values, so वो values नहीं खोनी चाहिए, and then reach 100 crores.
There was something very interesting I found in terms of the IP that you have created of those characters in Rabbitat. There's a play there also, no, in terms of creating content around those IPs. It could be like a comic book or a animation or stuff like that. That's how Disney's products get sold now. Disney builds the IP and then sells products around that IP. So I thought that was a pretty interesting opportunity there. Is that something you're thinking of?
Absolutely, we do consider that. We think there is a huge opportunity to do that. You are one of the few people who have recognized it. I don't know how you had. Well, I've spoken to 20, 30 people about the business plan so far, and let me tell you, not even the marquee investors or VCs had come up with thought, and we don't talk about it. But we certainly see the possibility to do that. This is going to be the bread and butter at some point, we believe. Um, we just have to meet the right creative team. But to reach that scale and to do it on our own, there should be certain scale into the business on its own, you know. And then we may raise the capital only to do that.
You will need to, I think, because that will be heavy investment, like creating good quality content.
Yes. I mean, Akshay, that is like not anybody has come up with. Between me and my brother, we talk about it, and nobody thinks about it. You're the first guy.
That's the advantage of interviewing so many founders, that cross learning.
If you like the Founder Thesis podcast, then do check out our other shows on subjects like marketing, technology, career advice, books, and drama. Visit thepodium.in, that is thepodium.in, for a complete list of all our shows.